ahead and tell the camera what we're dealing with here. These are all steel lug nuts, right?
Yeah, all steel lug nuts on 21 millimeter socket. Super tight. They're on a Toyota Sequoia. These are the tightest ones we found so far when we first got on them.
Let's look at the jaws.
And so, yeah, take a look here. Still no indication of wear, chipping.
And why is that, Jake? Why is it that we see no indication of any use whatsoever? Even though we've used this socket over 100 times, we see no indication. Why is that?
Well, the design of the socket doesn't allow for damage to the socket. So because the jaws are gripping and they're moving inward, the compression on the lug nut is directly toward the center. It's not radial. So concerning the lug nut, it's not pushing on the corner, it's pushing directly into the flat. And so that's compressing the lug nut, causing the socket to become one with the lug nut. It's removing any chatter effect, which acts like a chisel and a hammer both on the socket and the lug nut. So it just removes that component completely and removes that opportunity for damage to either the socket or the lug nut. And so the gripping mechanism is the secret sauce to this socket. Say that 3 times. The secret sauce to this socket.
So it'll...
Watch out that glass.
Oh, is that what I was feeling?
Yeah. Chipping away.
Yeah, I don't want to get hit with glass.
Go ahead and knock it out. The glass.
I didn't come here for demolition.
Come on, it's fun.
No. Turn to the left, turn to the right. Just unscrew it, screw it back on.
Reps on reps on reps.
Just unscrew it, screw it back on.
Reps on reps on reps.
Alright, so this thing is just so solid. This new Merrick tool lug nut socket, we're going to call it the cam lock socket, is just, it's proving to be extremely solid and reliable and dependable. And we're out here trying to give it, you know, full force test. Just go as fast as we can, you know, hit as many lug nuts as we can with it. You know, we're getting in the dirty wheels here, where some of them have lots of sand inside of that area where the lug nut is, and you know, it gets inside here, we spray it with some WD-40, we zing the next one, and everything works out fine. What I was thinking, that what called me to this pause at this moment and talk, is that it's becoming more evident to me that the beauty of this design, all of the force is distributed evenly around this, and it's on the flats. There's so much dependability here because there's no spike effect. With a traditional static socket, every time it hits that corner, it's like taking a chisel and hitting it with a hammer. And over time, and sometimes some of these newer sockets are being made with less, it's not as good a quality as it used to be made out of. And a lot of mechanics are willing to say that they've noticed a lot of these newer sockets aren't holding up like the old ones did. And so I don't know what kind of steel is being used, but some of these sockets aren't as quality as they used to be. And then you add on top of that this chisel effect, where it's like every time it turns and hits the corner of that lug nut, it's like taking a chisel and hitting it in that corner. Eventually that crack's going to go right down where that corner is. With this one here, that's not going to happen. And so I'm trying to predict here, like, where would the weakness be? Where would the wear be? And honestly, I can't come up with a good conclusion to that, because I don't think it would happen very quick. It might take years for the wear to be noticeable on one of these, because the only thing that could happen is the wear between the cams. The round part, the lobe of that jaw and the housing is the only place that it could possibly wear. And because there's a travel there, the flat's just going to keep right on finding its flat every single time. So this socket might hold up for years.
Okay, so we're out here at the new car lot, Chrysler New Cars. This is the latest one on the market. No, just kidding. So we're out here testing this amazing, revolutionary cam lock socket by Merrick tool. And we're just going through, putting on reps, okay? Just taking off as many lug nuts as possible. We have a lofty goal of 1,000 lug nuts today. And just think about how many tire changes that might be, how much wear on a socket that would be. And we're also testing out the lug nuts, because we want to know what kind, if any, damage might result from using the Merrick tool socket as compared to a traditional static socket. Now, we know a traditional static socket, and I say static because there's no moving parts, okay? The Merrick tool cam lock socket has moving jaws that locate each flat on the hex and grips it. It actually becomes one with the lug nut and transfers all of the energy, all of the impacts from the impact wrench through the tool directly through the lug nut to the threads on the fastener. It lubricates it with air because it's using the harmonic energy, the vibrations from the impact wrench, and it transfers that lubricity, the air, to the threads, and it actually unscrews faster and more efficiently than any traditional static socket with no moving parts, because there's no way a static socket with no moving parts can actually become one with the fastener. It'll never happen. Instead, you have a chatter effect, which creates more damage to the socket and more damage to the lug nut, because you have this chatter and it's just beating it like a chisel. And so it's going to have more wear on the socket and more wear on the lug nut, because ours grips, the cam lock socket grips and becomes one with it. It removes that chatter effect entirely, and there is no pounding, no chisel effect on the socket or the lug nut. So in this test that we're doing out here, we're wanting to see, does this damage the soft two-piece lug nuts in particular at all? And so far, we're not finding any damage to the two-piece lug nuts when we're using this cam lock socket. We've unscrewed and screwed on this lug nut 10 times, and you can see there is no damage to the lug nut.
Turn to the left, turn to the right. Just screw it back on.
Reps on reps on reps.
Turn to the left, turn to the right. Then screw it back on.
Reps on reps on reps. That was one time around. You did kind of check
Feels
out.
like about 2 days passed, but
Sorry, I was on the beach. Sorry.
it's getting hot out here.
I just watched some of. I never can watch a full movie these days.
Reps, son.
It comes in like 15-minute increments or 30 if I'm lucky. And over the course of a week, I finish a movie. But I started Inception last night.
Is the name Started Inception or just Inception?
Inception.
Yeah, it's about dreams, right?
Yeah.
So is that 10?
That's 10.
Keep going. What did you think of the movie Inception?
I love movies outside the box. Usually, even if they're really bad, I appreciate the art. That's 15. But interesting concept of using dreams to explore the subconscious. And
You want to complete that thought?
oh, I'm sorry.
To explore the subconscious.
I
And
went to my subconscious. So as we check out of our consciousness and what happens on the inside of a person, it's a deep mystery.
That's 20. You want to go to 25?
I do.
In other words, there's a lot more going on beneath the surface.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Point is a lot of these wheels, they dress them up, they want them to look pretty, and customers obviously don't want their tires to look all chipped up. So clearance is an important thing so that it doesn't rub. This socket easily clears, and then it's totally smooth. It's a really smooth finish. It's not going to cause any very, very minimal, if any, indications of rubbing against this. And the fact that it grips means it's not going to jump around and bounce around. It's going to grip onto it. It's going to lock onto that lug nut, and it's not going to stray away from the target and hit this relief part here, this clearance for the lug nut. All right. You said you had a test?